Today we've got this hood here that we're repairing. It's a brand new hood with a couple dents in it, and I want to show you how we find and repair those dents. So here's the dent here. There's a shallow area. It's not a real deep dent. It's just a shallow wave, and you've got one on either side. Probably from shipping, I'm not sure, but I want to show you how we find and repair these dents. So here I've got a little 180 grit sandpaper on this flexible block, and I'm going to hold it flat against this panel. See how it bends to the shape of the panel? And we're going to block it. It's going to show me how deep and where this dent ends. You can see we're going through into bare metal right there. So you can see we have a little low area here and then a bigger low area right here. So we need filler from about here to here, thin coat of filler, and then we'll be able to block this out, make it flat so we can have a good looking repair and finished hood. This is how you can locate a dent, even if we did it on this one. Now I can see the dent, and sometimes you can just see them. But if you sand over it and block over it, you're going to see any low areas on a new part. I probably am going to tap down this high area right here and maybe try and slide hammer this out just a little bit. So now that we can see the low areas here, I'm going to put a little glue tab on this and try and pull that out just a little bit, tap down these high areas, and then we'll fill this. So we're going to wash it, get it nice and clean before we apply our glue tab. So this is the slide hammer we're using, this Kiko slide hammer. We're going to use this tab right here. It's just a medium-sized tab. This is the super tab set. Let me show you what I have here. See, and that'll fit right nicely in the center of these dents. And then we just have to slightly pull it up. I don't want to pull it up too far, so we just want to pull this up a little bit just to level it out just a tad so we can put a thin coat of filler over it. And it's going to be right there. Let that cool a little bit, and then we'll just slightly pull that up. Okay, so I'm going to lift this up, and then we'll block it, and I'll show you how much it took out. Now it's going to be a little difficult because I just want to pull this. Okay, so let's try blocking it again, see what it did, because we'll be able to tell. All right, so it's actually standing in the center there, so a lot of that came out. And now it feels like just a small little wave right there. A couple little high areas. We'll tap this high area down on either side, this crown. And I'll show you how we do that. This one didn't come out quite as well. Came out a little bit in the center here, but still a little bit of low right around here. So again, we'll tap down the crown, and then we'll put a skim coat of filler on this. I like to use a paint stick. It's soft, and it's not going to create a dent. And we're just going to go on this crown, tap it down. Now we'll use some 80 grit, and I'll use my orbital sander and machine sand this off, and we'll probably take it down to bare metal, and then we'll lay a coat of filler in it. Okay, well, so we use 80 grit on the orbital sander. So now we'll wash this with some alcohol here. I'm going to tape right on that body line. I don't want any filler to go down in this groove, just to make it nice and clean and easy to sand. All right, let's mix up some body filler. We're going to use the Z grip. It really shouldn't take much. Pretty warm today. I use about that much hardener. I'm not going to mix it up until I get over to the panel. I want to be ready to go after we mix this up and lay this in. Now we're going to fold in our hardener into our filler until it's all one uniform color and there's no streaks. We're folding it in because we don't want to introduce any air into the filler. That'll create pinholes, which you'll have to correct later on. One uniform color. Let's flatten it out a little bit. We'll get a little bit. Make sure you clean off your spreader real well and you don't have any filler that hasn't been mixed up. Get a little bit on the spreader. I'm going to start about 2 inches outside of the repair. We're going to push it in, press it in. And I'm leaving plenty of filler on this low area because we'll just block sand it off. I'm going to try and keep the edges smooth right here, so it doesn't take too much to sand them out. On my second and third coat, I don't press as hard. I don't want to press all the filler out of the dent. So this right here is a Bondo rasp. We're going to use this to shave down the excess filler over these dents. Now we don't want to dig in. This has really coarse teeth on it. We don't want to dig in real deep on this filler. We just want to shave the excess and smooth it out just a little bit. So it's still a little bit tacky. So I put my finger on it and it's tacky. That's a good time to use this rasp. So the teeth are facing this way, so we want to use it like that. See how we're actually it's a little bit dry. So this is a little bit hard. I like to use this when it's a little bit softer, but see how it's shaving this excess filler off. We're getting all these lines out. So that's how you use a Bondo rasp. You can shave it down quickly with this. It'll save you a lot of time and from creating a lot of dust. So now we want to start shaping this. So for that, we're going to use 80 grit sandpaper. I know there's a contour in this hood, but I'm going to move with that contour. So this isn't sitting flat on there. So I have to do this in sections. I'm not pressing real hard. I'm letting the sandpaper do the work. As this starts to flatten out, I'm going to move my way down. So I'm not pressing on this end. I'm just letting this glide. I'm just holding it with this hand, letting it glide over the dent. I'm going to move to this center section here, moving down just a little bit. And right now we're just shaping this. I'll get a different style block when we want to get this perfectly straight. See how this section here is starting to get nice and smooth. You can see it's feathering out, it's flattening out, and we're going to continue on doing this section here until this is all nice and smooth and flat. And then we'll get another block with some less aggressive sandpaper like 180 and a block that flexes with the contours of this panel, and we'll block it out with that. Okay, so now you can see this is nice and smooth. We haven't taken out too much material. That's one problem I see guys doing, is they block out too much filler. You want to leave a little bit of filler in there so you have room to block down with a 180 grit sandpaper and then a 320. You'll have filler in it that you can block it down. So we haven't blocked out too much filler. This is perfectly straight right now. We just need to remove those scratches. So now we're going to go over this with 180. Let's go ahead and block this section out first. Okay, now we're going to switch over to 180. We're going to put it on this soft flexible block, and that'll move with the contours of this panel. Now we're still not going to press down super hard. I just want it to form to the shape of the hood. See, I'm going to blocking in an X pattern in different directions. And we don't want to take off too much of this filler either. That feels pretty good. Okay, now we're ready to run over this with 320 grit sandpaper. I'm going to use the orbital sander. We're just doing, I'm going to use the interface pad as well, just to remove those 180 grit scratches before we primer. Okay, so it wasn't really getting the scratches out like I wanted with the interface pad, so I took the interface pad off, and we'll just do it without that. Okay, now that we're ready for some primer over this, nice and smooth, nice and straight.
Listen up to learn more about applying, blocking, and preparing your primer for paint. Click on one of these videos now. I appreciate each and every one of you watching. We'll see you next time on Garage Noise.